Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. In today's lecture, we are focusing on sketching curves, and it's as simple as sketching some linear functions. So now we will focus on how the value of m and the value of c will decide how the line is sketched. Now in topic 2, subtopic 2.11, we are talking about sketching curves, and we are focusing on this thing which is linear, and that is how linear looks like. Of course, we are more interested in y is equals to mx plus c, but if the examiner asks us to, we can also write in this format. The decision is made upon m and c. M is the slope or the gradient. That's how the equation will look like. That's what decision means. And c is the y-intercept. What is the y-intercept when x is 0? Now let me write down an equation. For example, y is equals to, let me choose a black marker, y is equals to 2x plus 1. Focus on 2, focus on 1, compare coefficient with y is equals to mx plus c. It's already in the standard form. Y is all alone on the left hand side of the equation, and then on the right hand side, what do we have? We have the x term and the constant term. That's the right hand side. So now, since we have observed that m is positive, c is positive, that means, let me grab a line like this. Okay, the line would be like this. That's all you should care about, because you are sketching it. So it has a positive slope, it has a positive y-intercept, and that's all it matters. You don't need a table. So let me add something over here. When we talk about the word sketch, that means this is not exact. At the same time, it also means it's not misleading. There are certain things, certain idea. So the idea should be clearly expressed to the viewer, which in this case is our examiner or maybe some students. So the idea should be very clear, and based upon that thing, in this case positive slope, negative slope, maybe there is a zero slope, maybe there is an infinite or undefined slope, and y-intercept could be positive, y-intercept could be negative, y-intercept could be 0. So based upon these ideas, we have to sketch that thing. You don't need a graph paper. Well, what you see is a square grid, but you don't need it. So no graph paper. It can be drawn anywhere, any place. And the second thing is that you don't need any table of values. So these things are not there. So when we are talking about linear equation, what do we need? We need the gradient, we need the y-intercept. Let's say the second equation, it's written as y plus 3x is equals to 5. Is it in the standard form? The answer is no, it's not. Y has to be all alone. So y is negative 3x plus 5. Let's compare coefficient with y is equals to mx plus c. What's the value of m? Negative 3. M is the coefficient of x. I think everyone knows that. And this 5 over here, that's the y-intercept. So m is negative, y-intercept is positive. So let me add a page over here. One more thing. This is a positive slope, because when x increases, y increases, and x decreases, y decreases. Let me use a blue line. There is the blue. That is a negative slope. X increases, y decreases. Let me draw this line over here. Let me first draw like this, and let me draw it like this. So when we have a line parallel to x-axis, it has a slope of 0. And since all along the line, the y-coordinate does not change, therefore y is equals to a constant. That is the format of the equation of a line. Similarly, when a line is parallel to y-axis, and all along the line, the x-coordinate does not change. So first of all, gradient is undefined. We are not going into the logic of it. And over here, we would say x is equals to a constant. So that's how the equation will look like. Coming back to this. So it's red, blue, and green and purple. Okay, so now I should draw a blue equation. It's like this. Y-intercept is positive, gradient is negative. Gradient is negative, y-intercept is positive. That's how the equation looks like. Let's move to the next page. This time I've already written the equation. Let me first compare the coefficient. Y is equals to mx plus c. What's the value of m? That is positive. The value does not make much of a difference. It is actually the sign, because we are not plotting, we are sketching it. And c comes out to be negative 3. C comes out to be negative 3, which is negative. So therefore, this time, let me choose the red line, but the red line is going like this. So therefore, this is a positive slope, but the y-intercept is negative. And similarly, let me write over here, y is equals to mx plus c. What is m? Negative. What is c? Negative. M is negative, c is negative. Let me choose the blue line from here, and it goes like this. So now m is negative and y-intercept is negative. There is no harm in just going around and reviewing it. First of all, y is equals to mx plus c. Gradient is positive, y is positive, gradient is positive, y-intercept is positive. Over here, first I write in the standard form, then I make my decision. Gradient is negative, it's going down. Y-intercept is positive, so therefore the point of intersection with y-axis is above the x-axis. Over here, gradient is positive, but y-intercept is negative, so line is cutting the y-axis below the x-axis. And over here, gradient is negative, y-intercept is negative. It has a negative slope as well as a negative y-intercept. What about something like this? If I write y is equals to 3, let me draw this line y is equals to 3. So let me choose green color and let me just adjust it a bit. Okay, so now let me just adjust it like this. Okay, and let me also adjust this thing. Now it looks better. So y is equals to, let me write over here, y equals to 2. And let me draw this line like this. All along the line, the y coordinate does not change, y is equals to 2. For example, if I am interested in drawing another line, y is equals to negative 3. And let me choose this reddish color from here. So this is y equals to negative 3. That is going like this. So let me write y is equals to negative 3. The both lines are, they are parallel to x-axis. So parallel to x-axis. Be very, very careful about it. And over here, let me draw the line. Let's say x is equals to 2. So this is a line parallel to y-axis. And all along the line, the x coordinate does not change. So this is x is equals to 2. So this one is x is equals to 2. Let me also label it. Y is equals to 2 is labeled. Y is equals to negative 3 labeled. X is equals to 2. And let me also draw the line. X is equals to minus 3. So x is equals to minus 3. Let me draw this bluish line over here. So 1, 2, 3. That is like this. Okay, so that is x is equals to negative 3. That's like this. And some people, they ask this question that when we have a line which is parallel to x-axis, why is the gradient 0? And some people ask this question, why is the gradient undefined? So this is gradient is 0. Gradient is undefined. For our purposes, we also write infinite. So let's not make that an issue of concern at this point. Let me mark 2 points. Let me mark this as A, this is B. Let's say this is 3 comma 1. Let me write this thing as 7 comma 1. Let me find the gradient of AB. This is 1 minus 1, that is change in y, and then change in x. This is 1 minus 1 is 0 over 4, and we write this thing as 0, because you can also check with the calculator. 0 divided by any number is 0. And over here, let me mark a point 1 comma 3. Let me mark a point 1 comma 8. Let me call it C. Let me call it D. So gradient of CD, that is 8 minus 3 over 1 minus 1, which is 5 over 0. When you put in the calculator, it says a mathematical error. It's undefined. So when a line has a gradient of 0, y is equals to mx plus c, this becomes 0. Therefore, we are left with y is equals to c. That's another way of explaining the idea. When gradient becomes undefined, so we simply write x is equals to a constant. Now, what is the logic? That means I can say 0 divided by any number is undefined. So now let me explain you the logic right over here. Over here and over here. Now let me choose another color. That's good. So first of all, if I write, what do we have over here? 0 divided by 4. 0 divided by 4 equals to a constant k. Therefore, 0 is k times 4. Is there any number in the world when multiplied by 4 will make it 0? The answer is yes. That number is k is equals to 0. Multiplication by 0 makes it 0. But if I write something like this, let's say 5 over 0. Let 5 over 0 equals to q. That means 5 is 0 times q. Now, is there any number which after multiplication by 0 can give us 5? Not that we know of. So therefore, we don't know nothing about it. We are confused. So therefore, we say it is undefined. So remember this thing, line parallel to x-axis, gradient is 0. Therefore, the equation is written as y is equals to a constant, and line parallel to y-axis, gradient is undefined. Therefore, the equation is written as x is equals to a constant. So that is some basic idea regarding a very simple thing for which people waste a lot of time. That is why I took this initiative and made this video for you people. So this is about linear functions. Take care everyone and stay tuned for more content.